They were inseparable. Kerry was spiritual, reflective, a glass artist, enjoyed cooking, and liked redesigning and rehabbing the houses and gardens where she and Jim lived. She's remembered as a student-centered, bright, innovative, and full of energy and life. She's sorely missed by all who knew and loved her. Kerry is survived by her husband Jim and her pets, Otter, Dandy, and Rascal, at the family home in Flagstaff, and her parents, Jan and Bob Thompson of Great Falls, Montana. Other survivors include her aunts, Mary Lee of Washington, Betty of Big Fort, Montana, uncles Mike Lee and Conley Lee of Troy, Montana, uncles Don Thompson of Big Fort, Montana, and Jack Thompson of Lakeside, Montana, aunts Mary Kay Browning and Megan Beeson of Plains, Montana, sister-in-law Mary Henrickson of Bloomington, Minneapolis, Minnesota, brothers-in-law Ed Henrickson, Moorhead, Minnesota, and Dr. Myron Henrickson of Minneapolis. She's also survived by numerous cousins, nephews, and nieces. Dear friends surviving her include Charlie Fout of Butte, Montana, Sherry Hanoa of Florence, Oregon, and Marion Schultz of Idaho, Katie Zagaretta of Virginia, and Dr. Greg Walgamot of Washington, Angie and Walt Walker of Great Falls, Montana, Margaret Hotsook of Denver, Jen DeMont of Whitefish, Montana, Betty Lindstrom and Carol Parent of Bisbee, Dr. R. Bubba Hall, Miss Pat, George Self, Tasneem Ashraf, Dr. Karen Nicodemus, Dr. Joanna Michelich, and other faculty and staff at Cochise College, NAU graduate colleague, NAU research colleague and friend Dr. Dave Perotti, Dr. Mary Beth Watwood, Cindy Slayton, and other colleagues and staff at NAU. She was preceded in death by her grandparents, Byron and Inez Lee of Ferndale, Montana, Bob and Carol McShane of Big Fort, Montana, and Fielding and Bonnie Thompson of Kalispell, Montana, and also by her Uncle Gary Lee of Big Fort. The next poem that Kerry wanted to have read is by Mary Oliver, who was one of Kerry's favorite poets. And this poem is titled, When Death Comes. When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the gold coins from his purse to buy me and snaps that purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy and as singular. And each name, a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does towards silence. And each body, a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I've made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. And now we have, I think, a couple of more songs.
Have I done my father? Can I rest now? I'm going driftless. Oh, let's cry all our tears, cry 'em all out now. Let 'em flow down and clean all the rivers. And the evening sky is the reason why I'm going driftless. Have I worn enough clothes to go naked? Have I told enough lies to see some truth? Round hill, round thigh, round breast, round sky, I'm going driftless. Have I done enough, Father? Can I rest now? Have I learned enough, Mother? Can we talk now? And will you visit me in my place of peace? I'm going driftless. I'm going driftless.
Okay, this part of the service, we're hoping some people will get up and tell, hopefully, some humorous stories about Kerry. She did not like funerals. She said it was way too, you know, she wanted to be a little more upbeat. So, anybody who wants to start off can certainly come up. Greg Brown, by the way, I don't know if you know him, but he's a nationally known artist. She heard him perform in Portland, I believe it was, and she was sitting in the audience. She was pretty close to the front, and he kept looking at her, and he'd sing another song, and he'd look at her again. And so finally, when it was over, she went up there and said, "Oh, you know, I really like your music," and he proceeded to ask her out. I said, "Well, did you go out with him?" And she said, "Oh, no, he was way too short. He was missing his hair." So, at any rate, anybody wants to kick it off? Did you have a story you were going to tell us?
I do.
Or you want to start?
Jim, would you like to start? Sure.
Yeah.